Hey, 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 IG. Hey, powerful people. Happy Monday. Happy Monday. How are you? How are you? How are you? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Hey, guys. This is an impromptu live. I actually just got off an hour-long coaching session with one of my VIP private coaching clients, and some things came up that I want to share with my tribe and share with all of you. Hey, Vanjie, boss lady, how are you, queen? Hey, Brooklyn Beauty, how are you, little sis? Hey, 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 Batu Lee, how are you? How are you all? Welcome, welcome, welcome to the live. Thank you, thank you, thank you. This should be rather quick. I'm not going to keep you guys long. We have some work happening in the house, so if you hear background noise, then you know that's what that is. And I'm making my tea, so the water is boiling as well. But thank you. You love the hair. We had like a party weekend. We had 3 parties this weekend. Kids party, a grown-up party that was a whole vibe, and then a family party. So this is me like just throwing my hair up. So I'm glad that you love it. Thanks for that. I didn't want to take the time to kind of get like, Tavia, I'm going to do my best to save the live, okay, for everyone to watch it. So I'm not pretty and all done up because it was just more important for me to get the message out to you all instead of trying to be cute, right? So as I said, I was on, well, first of all, let me start with who I am and what I do. In case you don't know me, have never caught a live, or maybe you're new to following me, my name is Phyla Antoine, and I am a self-care and healthy relationship coach for women. I specifically teach women simple strategies for living a life of infinite love in their relationships that allows them to take superior care of themselves and really create a vision for life that fuels them, feeds them, and nourishes them. I coach women privately as private VIP clients. I host and am the creator of Sacred Self, which is a holistic group coaching program for women. And I contract and work as a professional speaker for educational institutions, private organizations, and corporate companies. So, as I said, I had a 1-hour coaching session with a private VIP client today. And there were some things that came up in that conversation. And so I wanted to hop on this live and talk to you guys about some really important relationship tools, tips, and mechanisms that you need to make sure you're implementing in your life and in your relationships, right? And so the first thing, which is probably the most important thing, but it's that you are not obligated to suffer in your personal relationships with anyone. There is no prerequisite for suffering when it comes to love and relationships, right? There is no rule that says in order for you to have a good relationship with someone, in order for you to get to the point where you really love each other deeply, that we have to suffer through this first. And that's only true if you accept it as truth. So the moment, which can be right now, that you decide that you do not have to suffer in your personal relationships, that you do not have to go through a suffering period in order to have love, is when that paradigm shifts for you. Are we clear on that? Yes? Write this down if you can, so that you can review it and you can go back and you can journal about it later. Have a conversation with your intimate partners or with your girlfriends or whomever it is that you feel close enough to have these conversations with. But this is information that will totally change the way that you love. And if you're able to change the way that you love, you can transform your entire life. Okay, so that's the first thing, that you don't have to suffer through relationships. We come from this space where we have internalized the idea that in order for us to get to a good point in our relationships, we have to suffer through in the beginning. And that's just not true. Okay? The second thing is that you get to advocate for yourself from whatever position you are in right now. So never allow anyone to tell you that you don't have the right to request what you want. You don't have the right to ask for what you're asking for. You haven't reached a level that allows you to be deserving of what it is that you want. You can request, you can ask, you can require exactly what you want right now. And just because you are not in a better position, in a better situation, does not mean that you have to wait until you're there to start speaking these things into existence and to start creating requirements for the people who want to be in your life. Life is all about growth and all about change and all about transition and transformation. And what's going to help you get to your next level is recognizing that you deserve to be there now, requiring the people in your life to live up to a certain standard, and advocating for yourself from right where you are. Is that clear? Does that make sense to you guys? You ladies and gents, right? Because this goes for the women who are listening, and this also goes for the men who are listening. You get to advocate for yourself from the position that you are in right now. If you don't have the car or the house or the career that someone else thinks that you need to have before you can ask for something, then that's someone that should not be in your life. And part of advocating for yourself is cutting toxic ties and removing people from your space who are not encouraging your growth. The people who love you and want the best for you will recognize that you have the right to request what you want and that you get to be your own advocate from the very beginning, from this place and this position that you are in now. Make sense? Yes? Okay, I want to make sure that we are clear about that. And so the third and I guess final thing that I want to drive home today, and I want you guys to know, to internalize and to accept, is that you do not have to experience anyone else's trauma just because you are in an intimate relationship with them. Okay? So here's the thing about that. We are all on a journey to heal ourselves and to grow through our healing. And when we get into a relationship with another person, that person is able to help us heal our trauma. Every relationship is an opportunity to grow and to heal from your pain and from your past. However, you need to be self-aware of that. You need to know who you are. You need to know that you have had traumatic experiences, and you need to recognize how they have impacted you in your life in order for you to really see the relationship as an opportunity to heal yourself and to create a space of healing for your partner. Without that awareness, you will just continue to inflict the pain and the trauma on yourself and the person you are intimately connected to. So, you want to be clear that you get to heal, that any relationship you're in is an opportunity for you to heal, and that you are not obligated to experience anyone else's trauma simply because you are in an intimate relationship with them. Right? I myself am a sexual abuse survivor, and it's something that hugely impacts who I am, what I do, and how I do it. And it impacts the way that I give and receive love, right? Because I had a traumatic sexual experience as a child. I was sexually abused. I was sexually assaulted. I had someone inflict pain over me in a way that should be very beautiful. And so when it comes to being in a relationship with someone, those things come up. However, I don't have the right to inflict my pain and my trauma on my husband because I haven't done my work and because I haven't healed and because someone hurt me. And he's not obligated to stick around to be abused in a way that allows me to feel relief because I am deflecting and imposing my pain and my trauma on him. It's my responsibility to work through my trauma, to communicate with him that this is part of my background and this is where I come from and this is some of my pain, so that he knows what he's getting himself into. But I need to see this relationship as an opportunity to work through and to resolve some of that trauma. And he's here to help me do that. But if you are the person inflicting pain and trauma on your intimate partner simply because you have not worked through it, you are a toxic person creating a toxic environment, and you are in a toxic relationship. And if you are the person on the other side of that trauma that's being inflicted on that abuse, whether it's verbal, emotional, psychological, spiritual, or physical, you are not obligated to stay in someone else's trauma simply because you are in a relationship with them and they are not mature enough to rise to the level of their responsibility. And the responsibility of the victim is always to heal. Okay? So those were the 3 things that I really felt moved to come on and share with all of you when it comes to intimate partnerships and relationships. And that's number 1, you do not have to suffer through a poor relationship in order to get to a point where you have a good, healthy relationship. That is not a prerequisite. That is not a requirement. I know that some of us, especially those of us in the Black community who come from a legacy of pain and trauma and oppression, have internalized the idea that in order for something to get good, it has to be bad in the beginning. And that is not true. So this is your opportunity to shift your mindset, to totally undo that thought process and create new connections in your brain. Sorry about that, I got a call. That tell you that things can be good from the beginning. And yes, there will be challenges. And your job is to face the challenges head on, resolve them, and get through them so that things can be better and you can get what you need and you're able to give your partner what he or she needs as well. But you do not have to suffer through things in the beginning so that they can be good later on. That's the first thing. The second thing is that you get to advocate for yourself from exactly where you are. Do not allow anyone to tell you that because you are not in a different situation, because you're not on another level, because you don't have certain things, that you don't deserve to ask for the things that you want right now. You absolutely do, and you absolutely get to advocate for them and for yourself right now. And anyone who loves you and cares for you is going to applaud you taking up and stepping up and standing up for yourself. Anyone who has a problem with you advocating for yourself is not someone who should be in your life. Okay? And then the third thing is that you are not obligated to experience anyone else's trauma simply because you are in an intimate relationship with them. You can demand that they work on their personal healing. You can opt out of being inflicted, of having their pain and their trauma inflicted upon you. You can set requirements for the people who you allow in your life. And if they have experienced pain and trauma in the past, you can require that they go out and get some help for themselves. Okay? And so those were the 3 things that I really wanted to come on and share with you, with my tribe, with my people. And it came up because I was just on a VIP coaching session with one of my private clients, and these things came up, and I wanted to share that with you. And so you guys might hear the banging in the background. We're having some work done at the house, so pardon the noise. But that's why I have the headphones in as well, to kind of cut back on some of the background noise. Do any of you have any questions for me that you want to ask in the way of the information I just shared, or when it comes to relationships or intimate partnerships? I have a few minutes and I'm happy to answer any questions that you guys have, because this is important stuff. This is important work, self-work, healing work, relationship work. It's how we're going to heal ourselves. It's how we're going to heal our families. It's how we're going to heal our communities and heal the world at large. Is by learning how to love in a healthy way. First, starting with ourselves, with sacred self-care practices, and then with our intimate partnerships and creating healthy relationship spaces. Right? And for any of you who maybe don't know, I do have an online group coaching program that I am enrolling for right now. It is specifically for women, and it is called Sacred Self. It's a holistic group coaching program for women where you learn how to advocate for yourself, how to create a simple self-care practice that allows you to build upon it so that you learn how to have healthy, loving, intimate, passionate relationships in your life. Right? And that's important because how you do relationships is how you do life. Okay? So before we hop off, do you guys have any questions at all? Okay, let's see. Won't it be selfish demanding your partner heal separately when we both together already? Your partner is an individual and so are you. So there's only so much that you can do with each other. And it's not that you're demanding someone to heal separately, but you're advocating for yourself and you're saying, I want you to be the best version of you. And so in order for you to be in my life and in this relationship, I'm requiring that you do the work that you need to do on yourself so that you can heal and grow and be better for you, which in turn will allow you to be better for me. And it is selfish in a way, but sometimes we have to be selfish, right? You have to be selfish in order to get what you want. How will you get what you want if you are selfless? That means that you're doing for others, you're giving to others all the time, and you're not taking those times to advocate for yourself. One of the core principles of my coaching is put yourself first. And I'm a wife of 9 years. I've been in a relationship with my husband for 15 years. We've been married for 9. We have 2 children, 7 and 13. I am not able to be my best self for them if I'm not taking care of myself first. And part of that is in acknowledging when my partner or my children need to do some work on their own and encouraging them to do that and setting requirements for myself. So yes, it's selfish in a way, but it is also going to be beneficial for both you and your partner and your relationship and your children and anyone who gets to be in your life and in your space. Okay? Any other questions, guys? Okay. How do you learn to let go of any daddy issues you may have, especially when you realize that it affects the manner in which you deal with relationships? So that's a great question. And I'm actually in the process of completing my 3rd book, which is entitled The Daddy-Daughter Dilemma: How to Finally Stop Dating Your Daddy Issues and Attract True Love. And so the first way that you begin to resolve your daddy issues, because I don't think that you ever can just let go of them. They're always going to be there. Your pain is always going to be with you. Your trauma is going to always be with you. Those issues that you have that are from these places of growing up and conditioning are always going to be there with you. But you get to recognize them, become aware of them, and then choose to move in a direction that's going to help you rise above them, heal from them, manage your emotions around them. So the first thing that you want to do is to become aware of the fact that you have some residual issues that stem from your relationship with your father, your parent, and that upbringing, which it seems like you have done. So that's one. The second thing that you want to do is take note of how they have impacted you in the way that you deal with the relationships and in the way that you partner, right? Both of our parents are extremely important in our lives and in the way that we operate. So I teach my clients always that there is an identifying parent that you have. That's the parent whose gender, sorry about that. That's the parent whose gender identity you relate to and you identify with. So for most women, it's mom who is the identifying parent. For some women, even straight women, it may be dad in a way that you feel like you want to be more like dad, right? But in most cases, for women, it's mom. That's your identifying parent. Generally, it's the parent whose sex and gender you identify with. And then you have your influential parent, who is the parent of the opposite sex and gender that you identify with. Most women, it's dad. And so the way that we operate with dad, the way that dad operates as a man, as a father, as a partner, influences our behavior in relationships, influences the way we see ourselves, influences who we become as a partner, and influences how we allow ourselves to give and receive love. And so when you find that there is a negative tone to the way that you are operating in relationships with the opposite sex, for if we're talking about women with men, you want to look at the way that the relationship with your influential parent, which would be dad, has impacted the way you feel about yourself. What are some of the things that your dad said to you? What are some of the things that he did to you? Was he present in your life? Did he show up for you, right? So in the cases of absentee fathers, deadbeat dads create desperate daughters. So sometimes women are desperately seeking the love and attention and affection and adoration from a man because they didn't get it from their dad. So is that your issue? Because if that's your issue, then you get to recognize that it is about you rebuilding your self-confidence, your self-worth, your self-esteem, because you don't feel valuable in relation to a man, because dad did not help you learn to value yourself from that position of him influencing you as a woman and as a partner, right? Sometimes there are women whose dads were there for them, who coddled them, who spoiled them, who gave them everything and never held them responsible and treated them like a princess and all these things. And they also have issues when it comes to relationships with men because they have this unrealistic idea of how a man should treat them based on the way that they were treated by their father, who didn't create healthy boundaries for them. And so these women sometimes act out in relationships and, you know, can get a little crazy and be real spoiled and bratty. And that also can have a negative impact on how you relate in your relationships. So that's a daddy issue as well. And I'm going to be talking about all of these different types of daddy-daughter dilemmas in my next book. But I hope I answered your question, right? The first thing is to become aware of the issues that you have. Look at how the issues you have had with your dad are impacting how you operate in those relationships, and then identify which areas need to be worked on because of that. Okay, and if you want coaching, you need more direct help or assistance, send me a DM. I'm enrolling now for my Sacred Self group coaching program, which is a holistic coaching program for women that is life-changing. We deal with the foundations of self-care as a sacred practice and healthy relationships as a basis for how you live your life. I have clients who have gotten married a couple months into the program. I have clients who are having children now who thought that maybe they wouldn't be able to find a mate. I have clients who have up-leveled their career, their salaries, all of that by working with me. So if you are in need of more assistance, more personal attention and guidance, send me a DM. We'll get you, you can apply for coaching with me. I'll send you that link. We'll set up a free call and we'll decide if working together is right? So let's be clear. This is for those who are serious about investing time, investing energy, and investing money into working on their progress and their healing. If you feel like you do not have $1 to put into yourself, don't send me no DM, because you're just wasting both our time. Okay? Any other questions? Okay, so how do I deal or handle a partner that blames me for everything, even things they are responsible for? Interesting question, and something that I was talking about with a client recently as well. So there seems to be a lot of people who exhibit this narcissistic behavior, right? And we think that people who are narcissistic are generally people who are just self-absorbed and it's all about themselves. But really, these are people who are not taking responsibility for their flaws, for the issues that they're creating, largely in part because they are afraid to really look at their insecurities. And so one of the things that you'll see a lot of the times in people who exhibit narcissistic behavior is this external blame of everyone around them instead of them. And so you have to decide what your relationship requirements are going to be. It is all about having requirements for the people who are allowed to be in your life. So if you're in a relationship with someone and they are constantly blaming you for the things that they have done, it means that they are not taking any accountability or any responsibility for themselves. And it also means that you are allowing that. You are allowing your partner to not take responsibility, to not take accountability, and you are not setting requirements for them. So the first thing that you need to do is create the requirements for the people who are in your life. What is it that you require? What type of treatment? What type of behavior? If them taking accountability and responsibility for their actions is one of those things, then you need to make that your personal requirement, and you have to have that conversation with your partner. Okay, so that's the first thing. You have to have the conversation and say, listen, we've been in this relationship for this many years, and I recognize that you have a pattern of not taking responsibility or accountability for yourself when you create a problem or when you make a mess or when you make a mistake, and I am not able to accept that anymore. I may have accepted that in the past, and so you may come to feel like this is okay with me. But in fact, it is not okay with me. It's never been okay with me. And now I'm creating some requirements for us. And this is something I do not want to continue to have to deal with. You get to advocate for yourself from wherever you are. That was one of the 3 tips I shared earlier. All right, but you got to have the strength to do that. And then you have to have the stamina to see it through. Because if you tell someone that and then they keep the same behavior up and you don't make any changes, it doesn't matter what you say because your actions are showing that you are accepting the negative and the poor behavior. Okay? Any other questions? Any other questions before we hop off? Okay. So do you think it can be done within your romantic relationship? What is that, Lauren? When you said, so do I think that it can be done within my romantic relationship? Can you clarify that question for me, love? Just so that I can make sure that I am answering you correctly, okay? Clarify that for me and I'll be happy to give some insight. Another question is, having a present stepfather meant to influence how much you long for your biological father? So, again, when our biological parents are not present in our lives, it can potentially create some conflict for us internally. Even if you have step-parents who are there and present and who love you. Very similar to when you talk to people who have been adopted and who had great lives, right? And had great parents adopt them and take care of them. Many times you'll hear them say, I still feel like or felt like something was missing. Because your biological parent is inside of you. Their DNA is in you. They've created you. So energetically, physiologically, biologically, spiritually, emotionally, they are a part of you. And so having a present step parent, I think is really helpful and impactful when that's a healthy relationship, because you get that nourishing and that nurturing and that love that you need and you deserve. But it does not take the place of the biological parent. So if you are still able to reach out to your biological parent, right, and form a relationship with him or her, do that. If you're unable to do that, at the very least, identify the ways that you feel around your biological parent not there, and then seek some help. Work with a coach, see a therapist, get some counseling so that you can work through those issues so they don't impose negative emotions or situations into your life and into your relationship cycle. Okay? And does it show unappreciation on your part towards your step-parent? No. You can appreciate your step-parent for being your step-parent, but you can also recognize that you have some issues relating to your biological parent not being there or not being present. They are not one and the same. You have the right to say, I love and appreciate you for being in my life. And then you can also say, I also recognize that I have some issues from this parent not being in my life, and I'm going to work on that because I need some healing. Sometimes as parents, we impose these unrealistic rules on our children, right? I'm here, so you should appreciate me and you shouldn't miss anything that's not here. That's not realistic. And if you're a parent, you want to be careful not to impose those kinds of rules and regulations on your own children. They can love you and appreciate you, but still long for the other parent as well. And you want to encourage a healthy dialogue and relationship with the other parent as they are children, so that when they grow up into adulthood, they're able to have healthy relationships. Okay? Any other questions? Any other questions? Okay, good, Lauren, if I answered for you. Good. Can I resolve my issues in the context of relationship? Because for me, when I start to work on this stuff, it is so tumultuous for my partner and I. So yes. You may not have been on earlier when I was saying that when you are in a relationship, it is an opportunity for you to resolve your trauma. It's an opportunity for you to heal yourself. It's an opportunity for you to grow and move away from the pain, right? However, you have to be self-aware in order to do that. You have to recognize that you have the issues, you have the trauma. Then you want to be considerate of your partner, so that you want to share with them, have the dialogues, let them know about the pain, about the trauma, about the issues that you have. Share with them your relationship with your parents, what it's like now, what it was like, so that they gain an understanding of what it is that they're really coming into and what they're dealing with, right? And you get to talk some of it through with your partner. And if your partner is supportive, they're going to want you to go out and find whatever modes of healing work for you as an individual. And you two can also seek modes of healing together. But I saw a quote online recently that said something about, it was from a woman who said, she is not looking for a man so that she can be a mother to him. She wants to be a partner to him, and sort of that's it. She's not signing up for all those other roles. However, when you are in a relationship with someone as a woman, you are going to be their woman, their mother, their sister, their nurturer, their healer, their teacher, and all of those things. And as a man, you are going to have to father the women in your life as well, right? You're going to have to be a lover, be a husband, be a friend, be a confidant, be a parent, be a teacher, all of these things. So when we are coming together as human beings in connection to each other in an intimate partnership, we get to recognize that there are multiple roles we are going to have to fill in that space. And you want to make sure that you're doing it from an empowered place where you recognize that, so that you can provide the things you need for yourself in that context, and so that you can be a help to your partner, so that you are helping them with their healing instead of deepening their hurt. So yes, Lauren, you can work to resolve those things in the context of your relationship with your partner. It just needs a level of self-awareness on the parts of both of you, so that you don't just re-inflict trauma on each other. Does that make sense? Yes? Okay. So again, I wanted to just hop on and share this information with you guys. I really hope that it's helpful for someone here. I'm going to keep the live up so that it'll be up for the next 24 hours, and maybe I'll share parts of it on my page as well, so that anyone who's not here can catch the replay and can get the tidbits and the tools that I shared. And again, my Sacred Self group coaching program begins this fall. We start in October. If you are interested in having sisterhood, support, a community that will be there to nourish you, to encourage you, and the ability to get focused, direct attention and coaching from an award-winning coach, which is me, then you need to send me a DM so that you can apply for coaching. We'll set up a free call and we'll see if working together is a right fit. Remember, keep in mind, this is a commitment to yourself. You are investing in yourself. So be prepared to commit to time, to commit to financial resources, to commit to the effort it's going to take for you to work towards your healing. It is not always an easy journey, but it is always worth it. So if you have any other questions about coaching with me, about the content that I just shared on this live, send me a DM. I'm happy to answer any questions related to this and any questions related to us moving forward and working together. Otherwise, I hope that you all have a great week. Love and light to you too, and you are welcomed. And again, I hope you guys have a great week. And go out and do something today that helps you to rise, that helps your growth, that challenges you, that doesn't always feel good because it's not easy, but that will create some phenomenal results for who you can become tomorrow, right? Don't be complacent, never settle, and invest in yourself. Those are my words of wisdom for today. Happy Monday. Have a great week.